Hey, what's up everyone? I had a very successful hunt day on Friday, found all the Rogue One pops that I was looking for. I even found the ones at stores where I previously haven't had any luck, like Target and Walmart. This is definitely the most pops that I've bought in one day since the SDCC pops were released and the Suicide Squad pops before that. I'm going to unbox each one and give a very honest review. I'm not going to go over each box like I usually do because I do that when I'm reviewing one or two pops, but this is 11, and if I go through the boxes, it's just going to be way too long. I'm going to start out by showing you the box art from what I feel was the most sought after exclusive from this first wave of Rogue One pops, and that is the Force Choke Darth Vader from GameStop. I say that because I went to 3 GameStops before I found this guy. The first 2 told me that he had sold out in the first 10 minutes, but what I did was go to a very small town that doesn't have any comic book shops or specialty toy stores or just collectible stores, because I do feel that some of these comic book shops are the ones that go up and buy up all the exclusives like in the first 10 minutes that these stores open. Because I mean, if you've been to a comic book shop lately, you'll see that they all have a lot of pops and they all have exclusives from everywhere, and a bunch of them, you know. And some of these places, like I asked, the first GameStop only got 4 of these. You know, and sometimes you'll go to a comic book shop and they'll have like 4 exclusives, 5 exclusives of all the same figure. And I just feel like they're the ones that do snatch these up just to flip them later at their stores, because, you know, they're like 20 to 30 bucks the exclusives at the comic book stores. So yeah, I do feel like they're some of the ones that do it. So looking for these in very small towns, I think increases the luck factor in actually being able to find one, because the GameStop in that small town had 6 of them and nobody had bought one yet. And it was like, I think noon by the time I got there. So I figure, you know, you'll have better luck at a small town because you won't have as many flippers. I bought pretty much all of them except for I didn't get the Imperial Death Trooper because I guess spoiler warning, I subscribe to Smuggler's Bounty and you're going to get a Jyn Erso and an Imperial Death Trooper kind of in a different stance with like looks more like a sniper rifle kind of. So I figured these are too close together to really need both of them. If they would have had the Chrome Trooper at Walmart, I would have bought it, but they didn't appear to have any. They had a bunch of this guy. They had maybe, I want to say like 20 of these guys, and I actually did look through every single one, but I'm thinking that the Chrome one isn't released yet. And I also didn't see, Target has an exclusive of this Captain Cassy and Andor, and they didn't have him either. They did have the Jyn one, but no Captain Cassian. And of course, Walgreens, the redheaded stepchild of the Funko Pop exclusive stores, did not have their exclusive Scarif Stormtrooper. Yeah, who knows when they'll release it. I did go to a couple of them, and it didn't appear that, you know, that they were there and somebody bought them up. It just didn't even appear that they had a slot for them. So I figure that they haven't released them yet, and I haven't seen anybody else showing them off. So I'm guessing they're going to, you know, randomly appear, and you're going to have to be extremely lucky, like always, to get one of those. But I did get everything else. But yeah, I like how they did incorporate some blue into here, because on the Force Awakens, this is all black, and then there's some red down here. But I do like a little bit of extra color in here, and I do like that they kept the white Star Wars logo on a black background. I think that looks nice and classy on the box. And they did have a little bit of blue right here too. So it makes the Star Wars box a little less boring, and also differentiates enough from the other ones. So I like that. Originally, I wasn't going to get this Darth Vader because he looks so much like the one from the Smuggler's Bounty box, and I want to say that the head sculpt is exactly the same. But this one is actually doing a force choke. And that's one of the most memorable things about Darth Vader is those force choking scenes. And this pop is just excellent looking. He's a perfect Darth Vader. Like, they got the paint job just right on the helmet. It's super shiny, so it does look like that plastic they used from the movie. And if you look closely on his eyes, they added like a little bit of brown in that black there. Because if you watch closely on the movies, the lenses aren't exactly 100% black. They almost look like they have like a reddish tint or like a super dark burgundy tint to them. And the way they painted the eyes really conveys that. And that's one of my favorite things about this pop. And they must have produced these in Funko's best factory, because the paint job on all the buttons and everything are absolutely perfect. And I like all the choices they made by making the gloves nice and shiny. They look like leather, like the boots. And his tunic is like a different black. It's flat. And his belt leather is not exactly glossy, but it's not flat either. So it all makes it look like different materials. And of course, his cape is like a flat black to make it look like cloth. And it looks really nice. I like the sculpt on it. Makes it look a little dynamic. Like he swiftly raised his hand to do a force choke, and his cape kind of flirted to the side there. This is just an excellent Darth Vader pop. You know, it's kind of funny too. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys ever saw that, the Family Guy, when they did like when the Family Guy did the Star Wars parody, and Stewie came out as Darth Vader. This looks like Stewie as Darth Vader to me because of the big head. But yeah, really excellent pop. I feel like this one's going to be hard to beat from this wave as my favorite because it's pretty awesome. Director Orson Critic is one of the characters I'm most excited about watching when the new movie comes out because, for one, he looks badass, right? And, you know, the bad guys are always the coolest. But the actor playing him, Ben Mendelsohn, is really terrific. I just watched Bloodline not too long ago, and he was the best part of it. And I want to say that he won some awards for that. He's just a really good actor, and he's really good at playing bad guys. He also played a bad guy in Killing Them Softly. He just played a totally despicable character, but he was excellent in that, and I can't wait to see more movies with him in it, and him playing a bad guy in Star Wars is perfect. And I won't be surprised if this guy eventually wins an Oscar in the next few years, because he really is a great actor, and I'm glad that they're picking some actors with some real talent to be in these Star Wars movies. But yeah, this pose is cool. It just totally like conveys, look, I'm very powerful. I'm a badass in the Empire. And he's got his little gun there, kind of hidden away. But yeah, like they did a really good job with the details on these new pops. Like look how perfect they got the paint. Because when you have white on black, it better be perfect because it'll be really, really noticeable. But yeah, I'm really liking this pop, and so far I can tell that Funko has really stepped it up when it comes to the quality of their figures with this line. So far, 2 for 2 are pretty excellent. You know, one of the reasons too that I say that maybe Darth Vader is going to have a small role in the movie, because I have a feeling that, you know, since the movie revolves around the rebels stealing the Death Star plans, I have a feeling it's going to be director Krennic's fault. And we're going to see Darth Vader at the end get very mad at that. And I think it's going to end with Darth Vader choking Krennic out. Like, I think he's going to force choke him, and it's going to be Darth Vader's big scene. And I don't think he's going to be in it that much. I don't think we're going to see Darth Vader fight anybody with a lightsaber, which would be cool, but I don't think we're going to see anything like that. And he's going to be very small. And I just have a feeling that that's how the movie's going to end, with Darth Vader choking this guy out. But yeah, pretty cool pop. And, you know, I've said before, I'm not a fan of the way they've been doing the graying on the hair, where they paint it one color and it looks like they just got like some spray and just kind of and spray painted some gray on there. But on this one, it really works. They did it good. I think because they just did it on the sides and they didn't do it up here too, because I think up here is when it starts to look really bad. Like if you look at the Luke figure, the old man Luke from the end of The Force Awakens, I think the way they did the gray on that looks bad, but on this one, it looks really good. Like I like everything about this pop as well. I don't know too much about this character, K2SO or K2S0. I'm not exactly sure if it's a 0 or an O at the end. But from what I gather is that he was like an assassin droid or some kind of killer droid for the Empire. But now he's working with the rebels. Which makes me think there's going to be some kind of espionage story going on with him. Either he's spying for the Empire or he's spying for the rebels. One way or the other. Which makes me feel like this one's going to be a straight up war movie. You know, if they're going to have like spies and stuff in it too. He's still got his emblems, his Empire emblems on his arms on both sides, which are applied perfectly, by the way. And again, the paint job on this guy is excellent. Like, look at this red. It's applied perfectly. The whites of his eyes aren't messy at all. And he's got very subtle color variations on his body, where at first from the glam shots, it looked like he was just painted all kind of black, but he is kind of more of a dark gray, and he does have a lighter gray in there, some like copper or gold, a little blue right here on his chest, very, very tiny blue button there that they probably didn't need to do, but they did anyway. I think that's the only blue on the whole figure, just that tiny little blue button. But it's great attention to detail. And you can see on the back too, some more color variations right here. Really well done. And yeah, I'm liking this pop too. It's awesome looking, and it's way better looking in person than on the glam shots. The only thing is his head's tilted a little bit, but I don't mind it too much because, I don't know, it gives him a little bit of personality actually. The way his head looks a little cocked like that. I know it's not intentional, but I don't mind it. Yeah, another excellent pop. This C2B5 is just a repaint of R2-D2, specifically the R2-D2 from the Smuggler's Bounty that had the serving tray around, I guess, his head here, or his dome. They took the serving tray out and just repainted it. But that's okay, because the paint job on this guy is super clean. Like, look at all these tiny little lines in a metallic paint, which can be kind of unruly, because I've noticed that Funko has a harder time with the metallic paints, but look how perfect they are. I mean, these are super, super tiny lines. And they're all done excellent. I like the way that they did his like lens or eye here a lot shinier than even this up here. So that does make it look like it's made out of glass. Just really awesome. And yeah, the paint job is just clean all the way around this guy, because some of the other R2s are really bad. Like, especially the original had really bad paint jobs on all of them. And the one in the Smuggler's Bounty isn't stellar either, but this one is. Like, it's just got an awesome paint job, and he looks cool in black. Like, I wonder what an evil R2-D2 unit is gonna be like in the new one, because I want to say that this guy is on the Empire side. He belongs to one of the guys on the Empire. I'm thinking that he might belong to Darth Vader, because, you know, if you remember from the prequels, Darth Vader, you know, was like a whiz kid when it came to building droids, and he actually built C-3PO and had a very close bond with R2-D2. So I wonder if he made himself this unit to remind himself of R2-D2, and maybe that's why he looks exactly the same as R2-D2. Who knows? I guess the only criticism I can give this pop is, and I guess it applies to all the R2-D2s, but since they've already made the other ones, you can't really go back. But I do wish these were a little bit smaller, because if you look at it, I mean, he's just as big, you know, just a tiny bit shorter than the humans. And I want to say these guys are like maybe 3 feet, 3.5 feet tall. So I think they should be a lot smaller. And maybe if they fit on the base, it would be cooler too, because it looks a little goofy on the base. Because I do like leaving the bases on the Star Wars pops I display. But this one, displaying it on the base looks stupid because he's bigger than the base. So that's the only thing that's always bothered me about the R2-D2 units. But other than that, this guy's pretty cool. So far, they are making 4 Jyn Ersos. I'm sure they're going to make, you know, a few more in the future. But so far for this wave 1, there is 4. And this is the Hot Topic one. What makes her different is that she's wearing a headscarf. And the body looks very similar to the common, but there are some slight variations in her clothes. But the pose is the same. So that's why I didn't get the common, because the pose is the same, plus the common has the same head as the one from Target. And the Smuggler's Bounty one's going to have some goggles. So the 3 I'm going to have are basically going to have different head sculpts and different body sculpts. So to me, that makes them different enough to merit having all of them. And like the other ones, her paint job is perfect. Like, look at that. There are no mistakes anywhere on this paint. I'm guessing since they are going to make so many Rogue One pops, they send this to the best factory with their best painters. And I like how the scarf, this must be from her headscarf, you know, I like how it's draped on her back like that. It looks really good. And I like how they glued it on to keep the paint nice and clean. But yeah, there's tiny little paint applications right here of white. And just, I mean, there's so many things that could have gone wrong with this in terms of sloppiness on the paint, but it's perfect. And yeah, they really outdid themselves with these Rogue One pops. The only thing I noticed in the store, and it did take looking through a few of these, and luckily at Hot Topic, you know, they had like, I want to say like at least 20 of her. So I was able to look through quite a few of them. But there was a little overlap of her face paint onto her scarf, making it look really weird. I've noticed that, I remember the Civil War pops, the female characters had that same problem where the face paint overlapped onto the hair and it just looked bizarre. And these ones were no exception. Like, this was the best one, and this one is actually pretty good, but you do see a slight little overlap right here, but some of them had it really bad. to the point where it made him almost unbuyable for me because I hate huge paint flaws like that on the face. I can forgive a lot of stuff on the body, but the hairline paint flaws to me are a big deal because it just makes it look really cheap when they're bad. But yeah, you do have to look through a few of these to find a good one, so I recommend going into the store to buy this one instead of ordering it online. When I first saw the glam shots of the Rogue One pops, this Captain Cassian Andor looked like one of the plainest ones. But now that I have him in hand, he's actually pretty cool. He does have a lot of detail. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but just like all the other ones, the paint job is pretty flawless. There's a lot of tiny little lines that could have been sloppy. And the sculpt is just great. Like, I really like the way they did the fur collar on his hood and his hair. His hair is done really well. I mean, if you remember back in the day, like take the original Han Solo, for example, his hair is basically just a part and it's just smooth. It looks like Play-Doh. It looks really bad, but they've really come a long way with the hair sculpt because look at that. It's just awesome. But yeah, the paint job is pretty flawless throughout. And I like when they put different glossinesses on the black to make them look like different materials. They didn't have to do that here, but they did. And there's just so many little areas that could have been sloppy. They're nice and clean. It looks like they glued the legs into the body, so that keeps the paint clean there too. The only very minor flaws I notice are like there's a little bit of the brown coming up from the boot, a little bit of the blue going into the silver there, but they are so tiny that most people are never going to notice those on their pops. I'm just expecting it really close and being like super hypercritical, you know? But yeah, perfect paint job on this. The only thing I did notice though, like when you go to the store and buy this guy, or if you're going to order him online, just, you know, be warned that you might get one that has this flaw, but it won't bother a lot of people. But to me, it's something that's on the face. But the eyebrows, this one on this side, you see how his hair here comes down and touches the eyebrow there? On some of them, it overlaps, right? But what they did was they didn't paint it black where the hair was supposed to overlap. And on a lot of them, most of them, the hair didn't come all the way down. So you saw this gap of flesh color between the eyebrow and the hair. And it just looks really bad. It looks like a big paint flaw and your eye just gets really drawn to it. So I did have to look through quite a few to find one where the eyebrow is actually painted black all the way through. And the strand is touching it, but not leaving a gap of flesh. But yeah, if you go hunting for them, yeah, check that out. You'll probably notice it too. So yeah, so look through a few. And if you do order them online, it's going to be a chance you might get one that does have that little flaw in there. But yeah, it's not a big deal. It probably won't bother most people. But, you know, if you have your choice, you know, if you have 10 of these in front of you, you're probably going to pick the one that you like the best. And the one I liked the best was the one that had the eyebrow painted all the way through. But yeah, really cool one too. Saw Gerrera is another one I wasn't terribly excited about when I first saw the glam shots. But after seeing him in person, I had to get him because he does have a lot of detail as well. I know that this character was in the Clone Wars, but I've only seen like one season of Clone Wars, so I don't think his character has showed up yet, so I really don't know what he's about. He seems to be a much older version of that guy because he's like thin and he's got his hair still in the Clone Wars cartoon. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to go and actually finish watching that to see how this guy would tie into this movie, or if it's even going to be the same character. It has to be, or else, you know, why would they give him the same name? I mean, he does look a lot different though, but I kind of want to go see what his backstory is now. But yeah, look at that detail on his body, and look at how, I mean, this has got to be, I think, the cleanest painted job when it comes to the body that I've seen on a pop. It's perfect. Like, look at those gloves. It's just a perfect, clean paint job. I mean, a little bit of the hand paint pokes through here. It's weird how sometimes they get, look at all this intricate detailing here, and look how perfectly it's painted, and then they mess up on something like that. It's really bizarre. And then also too, just like a lot of the other pops that have beards and goatees, the hairline, you see some of the flesh go over into the goatee. And they do that on almost every single pop that has a beard. Really weird. I don't know how they can get these so perfect, but really crucial things like that on the face, they get wrong. But it's not as bad on this one. But yeah, he's got a robot foot. That's another reason I want to watch the Clone Wars, because I want to see if he had a robot foot in that, or if he loses his foot in the cartoon, or what. But yeah, that cape looks really cool. And they did a good job making this look almost like plate armor. Yeah, really awesome detail on this one. The only thing I wish they would have done, oop, there goes the stand. The only thing I wish they would have done is give him a little bit of an eyelid going on right here, because you know it's Forrest Whitaker, and one of the most identifying things about Forrest Whitaker's face is that he does have like that eyelid that droops down a little bit. Maybe it would have been insensitive to the actor to do that, but if they would have done that on this, just give him a little bit of an eyelid on that one eye, it would have looked way more like Forrest Whitaker. But yeah, really cool pop too. Here's another character that looks way better out of the box, way better than his glam shots. This is Baze Malbus. Although, looking by those eyes, it looks more like Blaze Malbus. This is what I think they should have done with this one. Just give one of his eyes an eyelid like this. Perfect Forrest Whitaker. But yeah. This guy, again, super impressed with the amount of detail on here. Kind of surprised me when I saw him in person. I like that combination of the red and the tan. And you don't get to see it when he's in the box, but look at this cool backpack he's got on with, I guess these aren't bullets, but I mean, it looks like a bullet chain, but whatever this is, this must be feeding it extra energy, because I'm guessing that this gun is some kind of heavy laser blaster that's just used like almost like a Gatling gun style firing rate on this thing. So I guess this must be some kind of energy, unless it's like a flamethrower or something, but yeah, who knows? I guess I have to see the movie, but yeah. Really cool gun, really cool stance. And yeah, these are really getting me excited to watch this movie. But again, absolutely no flaws anywhere with the paint. His goatee, they did a little bit better job with this one, but yeah, it's still not exactly 100% clean. But this one's actually one of the better ones when it comes to the goatee. Yeah, the hair sculpt is really cool. Yeah, really curious to find out more about Baze Malbus. The Stormtroopers are one of my favorite things about Star Wars, and Rogue One has some pretty cool new ones. This is the Scarif Stormtrooper, and instead of white, his armor is like a light tan color, and he actually has brown pants and boots, which is kind of unique for Stormtroopers. So I'm guessing that maybe this guy specializes in like beach warfare, and the tan color is for like the sand. But yeah, like the other ones, there's a lot of attention to detail. And they really went the extra mile to make the paint really clean and also glossy when appropriate to make this look more like leather. Really cool looking, really cool helmet. And there's supposed to be a Walgreens exclusive of this guy. And as far as I can tell, it's exactly the same, except for he has like a blue strip across his chest, probably to denote that he's like a squad leader or something. But yeah, that's the only difference I can actually tell from the glam shots. Other than that, it's exactly the same. Pose is the same. Everything else is the same about it, except for that blue strip. And yeah, I mean, if I see it in stores, I might pick it up. I'm not going to actively hunt for it. And with Walgreens, you know, they'll say they're going to get an exclusive, but they never really seem to have a hard date of when it's going to come like in. So you just kind of have to wait until somebody else, you start noticing other people buying it. And by then, you're probably already too late, you know, because they really seem to go quick at Walgreens. But yeah, if I happen to be in there and I see it, I'll probably pick it up. Just because I do like the Stormtroopers a lot. And, you know, if you see a Walgreens exclusive, it's very hard to not get it. Just because they seem so rare. But yeah, another cool figure in this line. I think most fans can agree that one of the coolest things in the Rogue One trailer is Donnie Yen as this blind warrior monk named Chiru Imwe. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be an ex-Jedi, or if he's force sensitive and just doesn't have a lightsaber, or if he just looks to the Jedi for inspiration and tries to pass down their knowledge, or what. But it's Donnie Yen, so he's probably going to be cool, even though he does have the potential to be cheesy. Yeah, really curious to see this guy in the movie. And like all the other ones, his sculpt and paint job are pretty flawless. Some nice contrasting colors with the black, tan, gold, and red. I like how this is a separate piece. But yeah, just like the other ones, man, this guy is done really, really well. I like the way they did the darker blue line around the eyes instead of just painting them light blue. Makes it look really nice. And his hair has no texture to it. It's just kind of painted black, like this flat black. But it looks good. It looks appropriate. It looks just like the dude in the movie. Yeah, another cool one in this series. And my favorite shot of the Rogue One trailer is Jyn Erso dressed as a pilot. You know, towards the end where she's like kind of standing sideways and she's looking, like her head's cocked like this, and you see the Empire's logo on her arm. It just looks really awesome. The only thing is, the chest plate seems a little shinier in the movie. I wish they would have made that a little glossier, kind of like Darth Vader's helmet. But it still looks cool. And you can't really see in the trailer what color her gloves and boots are, but I think those would look cooler in black as well. The brown just doesn't seem to make sense. And I'm not sure what that is on her back either. It looks like weapons, but it could just be part of some kind of breathing apparatus for her backpack or flight helmet or something. But yeah, I like the way they glued on the hair here to keep the paint clean. Yeah, overall pretty good job with this one too. This is a Target exclusive. I was actually pretty lucky to find the Walmart exclusive, the GameStop exclusive, and the Target exclusive, because I usually have no luck at Target or Walmart. Walmart, that's the first exclusive I ever found at Walmart. And actually Saw Gerrera, it's kind of weird. They left off the stickers off of the Saw Gerrera pops at Walmart, and they actually had a good number. I want to say they had like 15 of these. And yeah, none of them had the stickers, so I don't know what happened with that. I'm not sure who's in charge of putting the stickers. I don't know if Funko does that or the stores do that. Who the heck knows? But yeah, that was kind of weird. I don't mind it so much, but I'm pretty sure some people are going to be like, what the heck? I finally found a Walmart exclusive. It doesn't even have the sticker. But yeah, pretty happy that I was able to get this one because Target's pretty tough for me too, but they had a good amount of her too. I want to say they had about 8 of them. Yeah, and I did go really early in the, like I went right when they opened at 9. That was the first place I hit actually. I really hope that Rogue One is good. That first trailer came out and everybody thought it was awesome. But it kind of reminds me of Suicide Squad, where the first Suicide Squad trailer blew everybody away, but then you started hearing news about extensive reshoots, and the movie didn't live up to expectations. They are doing extensive reshoots on Rogue One as well, so I hope that doesn't happen with this movie. I still like Suicide Squad, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. It's hard for me to pick a favorite out of this line because they're all really good. I think maybe my least favorite is the black R2-D2 unit, C2B5, just because I think he's just too big. If they would have made him a little bit smaller, he would be awesome too. I'm really liking the Jyn Ersos. I think the director Orson Critic is really cool. Darth Vader, probably my favorite, but just because he's Darth Vader, you know? But they're all really nice, and I don't know, I really can't pick a favorite. They're just way better than I thought they were going to be. And yeah, this is a cool line, and I'm sure there are going to be a whole bunch more as the movie gets closer. But yeah, thanks for watching this kind of long video, and you guys take it easy.